And now for a little bit of Ovid, just a smidge. I'm going to read the first part of the first book of the Metamorphoses. This is the Charles Martin translation, which I like a lot. It's lovely. Okay. My mind leads me to speak now of forms changed into new bodies. O gods above, inspire this undertaking, which you've changed as well, and guide my poem in its epic sweep from the world's beginning to the present day. Before the seas and lands had been created, before the sky that covers everything, nature displayed a single aspect only throughout the cosmos. Chaos was its name, a shapeless, unwrought mass of inert bulk and nothing more, with the discordant seeds of disconnected elements all heaped together in anarchic disarray. The sun as yet did not light up the earth, nor did the crescent moon renew her horns, nor was the earth suspended in midair, balanced by her own weight, nor did the ocean extend her arms to the margins of the land. Although the land and sea and air were present, land was unstable, the sea unfit for swimming, and air lacked light. Shapes shifted constantly, and all things were at odds with one another. For in a single mass, cold strove with warm. Wet was opposed to dry, and soft to hard, and weightlessness to matter having weight. Some god or kinder nature settled this dispute by separating earth from heaven, and then by separating sea from earth and fluid ether from the denser air. And after these were separated out and liberated from the primal heap, he bound the disentangled elements, each in its place and all in harmony. The fiery and weightless ether leapt to heaven's vault and claimed its citadel. The next in lightness to be placed was air. The denser earth drew down gross elements and was compressed by its own gravity. Encircling water lastly found its place, encompassing the solid earth entire. Now when that god, whichever one it was, had given chaos form, dividing it in parts which he arranged, he molded earth into the shape of an enormous globe so that it should be uniform throughout. And afterward he sent the waters streaming in all directions, ordered waves to swell under the sweeping winds, and sent the flood to form new shores on the surrounding earth. He added springs, great standing swamps and lakes, as well as sloping rivers fixed between their narrow banks, whose plunging waters, all in varied places, each in its own channel, are partly taken back into the earth and in part flow until they reach the sea, when they, received into the larger field of a freer flood, beat against shores, not banks. He ordered open plains to spread themselves, valleys to sink, the stony peaks to rise, and forests to put on their coats of green. And as the vault of heaven is divided by two zones on the right and two on the left, with a central zone much hotter in between, so by the care of this creator God, the mass that was enclosed now by the sky was zoned in the same way, with the same lines inscribed upon the surface of the earth. Heat makes the middle zone unlivable, and the two outer zones are deep in snow. Between these two extremes, he placed two others of temperate climate, blending cold and warmth. Air was suspended over all of this, proportionately heavier than ether, as earth is heavier than water is. He ordered mists and clouds into position, and thunder to make test of our resolve, and winds creating thunderbolts and lightning. Nor did that world-creating God permit the winds to roam ungoverned through the air, for even now, with each of them in charge of his own kingdom and their blasts controlled, they scarcely can be kept from shattering the world. Such is the discord between brothers. Eurus went eastward to the lands of dawn and the kingdoms of Arabia and Persia, and to the mountain peaks that lie below the morning's rays. And Zephyr took his place on the western shores, warmed by the setting sun. The frozen north and Scythia were seized by bristling Boreas. The lands opposite, continually drenched by fog and rain, are where the south wind, known as Auster, dwells. Above those winds, he set the weightless ether, a liquid free of every earthly toxin. No sooner had he separated all within defining limits when the stars, which formerly had been concealed in darkness, began to blaze up all throughout the heavens. And so that every region of the world should have its own distinctive forms of life, The constellations and the shapes of gods occupied the lower part of heaven. The seas gave shelter to the shining fishes. Earth received beasts, and flighty air the birds. An animal more like the gods than these, more intellectually capable and able to control the other beasts, had not as yet appeared. Now man was born, either because the framer of all things, the fabricator of this better world, created man out of his own divine substance, or else because Prometheus took up a clod, so lately broken off from lofty ether that it still contained some elements in common with its kin, and mixing it with water, molded it into the shape of gods who govern all. And even though all other animals leaned forward and looked down toward the ground, he gave to man a face that is uplifted, and ordered him to stand erect and look directly up into the vaulted heavens, and turn his countenance to meet the stars. The earth that was so lately rude and formless was changed by taking on the shapes of men.